In this video, we'll talk about Concurrent HashMap. Concurrent HashMap class is introduced in JDK 1.5, which implements concurrent map as well as serializable interface. Prior to Java 1.5, if you need a map implementation which is thread safe and can be safely used in a concurrent and multi-threaded environment, then you only have hash table or synchronized map because HashMap is not thread safe. Concurrent HashMap provides better performance than hash table and synchronized map because it only locks a portion of map instead of whole map, which is the case with hash table and synchronized map. Concurrent HashMap allows concurrent read operations and at the same time maintains integrity by synchronizing write operations. Key points of concurrent HashMap. The underlying data structure for concurrent HashMap is hash table. Concurrent HashMap class is thread safe, that is, multiple threads can operate on a single object without any complications. In concurrent HashMap, the object is divided into number of segments according to the concurrency level. Default concurrency level of concurrent HashMap is 16. Concurrent HashMap allows multiple readers to read concurrently without any blocking, but for updation in object, thread must lock the particular segment in which thread want to operate. This type of locking mechanism is known as segment locking or bucket locking. Hence, at a time, 16 updation operations can be performed by threads. Example, we'll be implementing a token generation example using concurrent HashMap. We'll be creating two threads which will be inserting tokens in concurrent HashMap simultaneously. We'll be creating a third thread which will be reading tokens from the concurrent HashMap while other threads are creating tokens. So let's create a new class, and the name of the class is Concurrent Token Generation. So in this class, we'll be creating three threads. Two threads will be putting numbers in the hash and the concurrent HashMap using random. So it will be generating random numbers and will be inserting into the HashMap. And third thread will be taking these numbers directly from the HashMap and will be printing it out on the console. So in order to implement this example, let's first create public static void main and create an instance of concurrent HashMap. Concurrent HashMap, and here we'll be putting integer and integer. And concurrent map is equal to new concurrent HashMap, and this is integer. Now let's first create a thread which will be generating numbers and will be putting those numbers in the concurrent HashMap. So new thread, and dot start. So we're not going to use the executor service with this. We'll be using simple thread dot start. So let's create a random number using random number generator. Random number generator is equal to new random. And for integer, I is equal to 0, I is less than 10,000. So these are the keys for the HashMap which we are generating through the for loop and I++. And concurrent map dot put I and create a random number from number generator dot next integer, and the values bound is 10,000. So it will generate number from 0 to 10,000 and will put in the hash map where the I is the key. And now let's do thread.sleep or time unit dot millisecond dot sleep. That's only like 10 milliseconds. And here sound will try and catch. So this is our first thread. Now let's implement the second thread. And this thread also will be using random and num generator. Same thing which we have done. Only thing is that the keys will be different. So in this case, we'll be putting keys from 10,000 to 10,000. So for integer I is equal to 10,000 and I is less than 20,000, I plus plus, and concurrent map dot put and I and num generator dot next integer and bound is 20,000. And now sleep this thread for 10 seconds. Sleep for 10. And surround this with try and catch. And here dot start. Now let's create a third thread, new thread. And in this thread, we'll be reading it from the hash table. So looping it for ever while true and random num generator. So we'll be generating the keys because we know that the keys are in the range from 0 to 20,000. So we'll be using random generator to generate the keys to read it from the hash map. So integer key is equal to num generator dot next integer and then range is 20,000. And integer value is equal to concurrent map dot get and then key. If value is not equal to null, then print out key plus key and plus value is plus value. And let's have this thread sleep for 10 milliseconds. And round this with try and catch. And let's start this thread also. That's all for our implementation. Now let's look at the program again. So we created 3 threads. First thread will put the numbers of the hash map and the keys are from 0 to 10,000 and the value is randomly generated. Second one, the keys are from 10,000 to 20,000 and the values are randomly generated. Now here we are reading it from the hash map by using a random generator because the keys we know that are from 0 to 20,000. So we are using a random generator to generate those keys. and then reading the value from the concurrent hash map using concurrent map.getKey. And if value is not equal to null, then we are printing out the key and the value is value. So it is now printing out keys and values. So this is an operation of HashMap. We are inserting the values in the concurrent HashMap, and at the same time we are reading the values from the concurrent HashMap.